And tonight on our great American panel, he is a Fox News legal analyst, attorney. Peter Johnson Jr. is back with us. He is a best-selling thrill writer and the author of the upcoming book, Vanished. Jo Finder is with us, and she is a Republican congresswoman from the great state of Tennessee. Marsha Blackburn is back with us. Guys, good to see you all. Thank you for being here.
Thanks a lot.
I tell you, when I heard this story about this hate sex list, and there's far more vulgar terms that they were using in Playboy that I'm not going to use here, about conservative women. It so angered me. Let me give you Elizabeth Hasselbeck, who's a friend of this program and a friend of mine, and a lot of the women listed here are friends of mine. Here's what she said.
They did take it down.
Okay.
They are not able to find it. They realized that, I think, more on a financial level, that they would lose some backing on it. But the fact that they put it up in the first place is awful, and I think to say that you want to hate body.
Well, that's also saying you want to rape.
Exactly.
You want to rape a woman.
Exactly. And there's a little difference there.
No, I think Sherry made a good point there, that they really are talking about violent sexual attack of women here. Could you imagine if a conservative or a conservative publication ever published that?
Oh, it is just unthinkable that they would. And, you know, the thing is, this is just so beyond the pale, Sean. This is a sick person that has posted this. I haven't read it. I don't intend to read it. But I will tell you, it seems like what we have taking place today is that the last bastions that you can attack without reprisal or recrimination from the mainstream is conservative women, Christians, small business owners.
And a friend of yours was on this list, Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann.
Yeah. Right.
Joe?
I thought I wasn't supposed to agree with you, Sean. I have a 15-year-old daughter, and you see, I get sensitized to this. This was, I thought, hate speech. You know, it's like what happened to the Playboy I used to hide. You know, this is not right. My feeling is, I don't like Ann Coulter. I don't agree with anything Michelle Malkin says. But that sort of thing was offensive. And what I found interesting was what killed this was Twitter. There was actually, it kind of seeped out, and there was this explosion. Hundreds of thousands of people decided they were going to boycott Playboy. So in a sense, I thought this was a triumph, you know,
But, you know, Peter, maybe I'll get you on the legal side of this,
Sure.
because the objectification of women, you know, we're turning women into objects, et cetera. But is there any legal side to this, considering they're basically talking about a violent act towards women?
I think you're right on target. You know, this is beyond the objectification of women. This is rendering women objects of crime, objects of violence.
You know, I want to clear that. I wasn't saying that. Yeah, but I mean, with Playboy and those magazines have. I agree with you. This is far beyond that. I just want to be, for the record, say that.
In my mind, and I read it in preparation for this segment, and it came through the email, and I said, oh, my God, am I getting this right properly? Is this really what appeared? It can be seen as an incitement to violence, as an incitement to do harm to the people who are named in that article. And it's really disturbing. Yeah. It really has to be condemned, and I'm glad you're condemning it, because you know, there's not a lot of people who are doing that.
Well, I wonder about the safety of women. If, you know, you can talk in this manner, and obviously, but it's you know, look, I've said this on the radio for years, and I'll say it here. You know, beyond maybe kids in college or adolescents, or you're talking about as a kid, you're hiding Playboy under the bed. I have said, you know, all these guys that go to strip bars, that they're 40 and 50 years old, that read these, you know, pornography is exploding on the internet. And if you're 40 and 50, you're weird. There's something wrong with you. And my attitude is, go get a girlfriend. Go relate to a woman. You're laughing. I'm glad I got you to laugh, Congresswoman.
Well, Sean, I will tell you, again, I think that what we have is a situation that has occurred in this country where some people think if you attack conservative women, if you attack Christians, if you attack small business owners, if you attack men and women in uniform, that you can get by with that without fear of recrimination from the mainstream, or without it being called a hate crime, things of that nature. And I do appreciate that you are calling people into accountability on it.
Anybody responsible for this should be fired. And I think, you know, these magazines need to go forward. All right. The unemployment rate in this country, this is scary. We've seen now in some major cities in this country, unemployment now is already in double digits. I'm worried to death about the state of Michigan. It goes from 8.9 to 9.4%. And the way, Newsweek presents it is, oh, by the way, it's actually a good thing. Good news about jobs was their headline today. There's no good news about jobs.
There absolutely is not. And to see these numbers and talk about 345,000 people losing a job, close to 400,000 people losing jobs, and then declare it good news, I mean, I don't know what standard by which it's good news. If you can multiply the tragedy in one household 300,000, 400,000 times about the loss of a job and say, well, no, there's really good news. We're coming out of this. We're coming out of what?
And I brought this up earlier in the program. The Obama people told us in January, as they were scaring us into supporting this massive stimulus bill, that unemployment would hit 9% if we didn't pass the stimulus, and they said it would be 8% if we did. Right. What happened? Obama's wrong?
Look, there's this old joke about a guy who falls off a 100-story building. And his friends on the 50th floor shout out, "How you doing?" And he says, "So far, so good." I sort of feel like that's what Joe Biden said today, that we're doing okay. But on the other hand, the flip side is, the last time the numbers were this bad in unemployment,
1983.
Under Reagan.
No, well,
I voted for Reagan. I supported Reagan. And I got a lot of grief in Cambridge about this. It was like, you'll never eat tofu in this town again. My feeling was, that's okay. We're going to come out of it. And I think we will come out of this because the economy's broken.
But the only difference is Reagan was on a path that is the antithesis of the Obama plan. And that's the difference. So that's what scares me. We've got to take a break. More with our great, great, great American panel right after the break. Straight ahead.